So JC, we're going to go right around the globe, around the world in 80 seconds.
All right.
We're going to start in Europe. What do you think of Europe here?
So Europe's flat since 2000, right? So the S&P 500 and the Dow, they started making new all-time highs, S&P in 2013, right? We exceeded finally the 2000 and 2007 highs, but Europe still hasn't done that. Look at the Euro Stock 600, still below that. So Europe's essentially flat for over 19 years. We're going on 2 decades here. To me, I think we get an upside resolution out of this, and we go on to make new all-time highs, just like the S&P did in 2013.
Switzerland.
So Switzerland is just breaking out of a 12-year base. So just like Europe as a group has yet to break out of the 2007 highs, Switzerland hadn't either, and just did. So we're looking at 12-year base for Switzerland, and we're breaking out. To me, that's bullish, and I also think that's a good leading indicator for Europe as a group.
So DAX would be bullish too, then?
Germany, no question about it. I think we go ahead and retest those 2015 highs. I think it's on its way.
And how about first of all, how about Greece? But I mean, it's a small market, though, right?
It is, but think about it. Greece is up 45% or something like that off the lows at the beginning of the year. So it's not exactly a safe haven. So
it's a high beta nation.
I mean, listen, if money's flowing into Greece, it's not because there's an excessive amount of risk aversion out there in the market. So I got to take Greece leading the world this year as a positive sign, not a negative one.
And how about Denmark?
Denmark, doesn't get a lot of love out there, Denmark, but the 4-year base is hard to ignore. We've literally gone sideways for 4 years since the 2015 highs. I think we ultimately do break out. I think it happens soon, and we get a similar breakout to what happened in Switzerland.
And how about over in Asia, Hong Kong?
So Hong Kong, big developed market, still below the 2007 highs. Failed there last year. I think we're going to go ahead and retest that. And then the question is, all right, do we now break out and move on? Or is it going to take maybe a 4th test to ultimately break out? Regardless, I think we retest those former highs. And then ultimately the resolution is higher, right? Which is the common theme that we're seeing across the globe.
Taiwan
hasn't done anything in 25 years, literally flat. So when you look at the Taiwan index, to me, I think this 25-year base suggests that we're going higher. I can make the same argument for Thailand. Again, from the mid-90s, hasn't done anything. So to me, I look at these bases as bullish bases, not massive tops. So are these going to resolve lower and be 25-year tops, or are these just consolidations that will resolve higher in the direction of the underlying trend? And I'm betting on the latter.
And your big picture conclusion after walking through, taking a trip around the world?
My big picture conclusion, I think that the London FTSE 100 really tells that story, probably the best. Flat since 1999 and just breaking out of a base. So when I talk to a lot of investors, they're like, wow, the stock market is just so high. And, how can it possibly keep going higher? It's like, well, the S&P 500 and the Dow have done nothing for 18 months. Small caps are down in the Russell 2000. So it's not like the U.S. has gone straight up. It's done 0 return in a year and a half. So I would argue that's pretty flat for a while now. And then when London hasn't done anything in 20 years, Europe's flat for 2 decades. Taiwan, Thailand, flat for multiple decades. Look at emerging markets, EEM, which represents sort of a basket, like a cap-weighted basket of emerging markets, flat since 2008, actually technically down. So to me, it's hard to make an argument that we've gone too far too fast, or that, at some point soon, stocks need to sell off because they can't hold this accelerated move higher. I'm simply not seeing that accelerated move higher yet. And I think it's about to come. So I take all of that as the weight of the evidence that stocks are going higher from a secular perspective.
JC, very good. You're the man.